Good day, everyone. I am Abigail Marnali J. Gabutan, and my topic for today is formulating goals and objectives. So, you guys might wonder how to formulate goals and objectives as a student and as a teacher someday. So, at the end of the session, the students will be able to define what is goal, objectives, mission statement, and vision statement. Compare goal from objectives and mission statement from vision statement. Then reflect the importance of formulating goals and objectives and mission vision statement in a curriculum. And the last one is to formulate your own goals and objectives or mission and vision statement. So to start, a goal is a way of putting into words the main purposes and intended outcome of your course. These are statements of educational intention, which are more specific than aims. Goals, too, may encompass an entire program, subject area, or multiple grade levels. The way may be in either amorphous language or in more specific behavioral terms. While objectives are usually specific statements of educational intention, which delineate either general or specific outcomes, but objectives are more specific than goal. Lesson objectives must be aligned with the aims of education as embodied in the Philippine Constitution and other laws, and on the vision mission statements of the educational institution, which basically these are statements about how goals will be achieved. So we might wonder, what is the difference between goal and objectives? Here are the difference. So goals we have here, general. Goals should be general but not vague, and goals should be transparent. You must not use jargon when creating goals. So here in objectives, these are specific to differentiate goals and objectives. Goals are like our target, just like in archery, the goals are our target and the arrow is our objectives. So objectives are specific. It should be specific than goal, and they're in a hierarchical, or they are in they are organized. Objectives should directly relate to the goals. Then a clear goal and objective provide the basis for evaluation of the course. This evaluation of the course is a goal, and assessment of student learning is the one that is objectives. So in formulating goals and objectives, we have here the SMART frame. For both goals and objectives, it is important to make sure that you use the right build-up in formulation. The right words and the right build-up can have a great impact on how enthusiastic potential partners are in working together on your project. A method that helps a lot in formulation, goals, and objectives in the SMART method. So SMART stands for specific, M is for measurable, A is for achievable, and R is for relevant, then T for timely. In specific, you can define your goal or objectives as clear, short, and simple as possible. covering what you need to say, avoiding unnecessary or complex language. These include the 5 W's. What do we want to accomplish? Who is involved? Why are we doing this? Where will it be done? And which resources are needed? So in measurability concerns the indicators and measure the success of your project. How will you indicate success? How can you measure during the implementation of the project whether you are not track? Preferably this includes specific numbers. Inachievable. Don't set the bar too high. This will disappoint stakeholders when you do not deliver what you aim for. It is important that you formulate a goal, not a vision. Don't set the bar too low. It means you don't want to underestimate your own project. So irrelevant, you might wonder, or you might ask this question: does this goal or objective fit the other goals and overall vision of your organization? Does the goal or objective support your short and long-term plans? You are asking how relevant that goal or objective is. So in timely, the last one, your goal or objective should include a certain time frame in order to maximize the effect of your project by not running it too long or too short. By which time do you hope to achieve your goal objectives? You can say weeks, months, or years. So along the way, you might encounter smart in planning up your goals and objectives to be more specific and more achievable. So next is we have the mission statement. The mission statement, or simply a mission, is a public declaration that schools or other educational organizations use to describe their founding purpose and major organizational commitments. Example, what they do and why they do it. And a mission statement may describe a school's day-to-day operational objectives, its instructional values, or its public commitments to its students and community. This is more like a process of how they are going to act in achieving their mission, or achieving their vision. So the vision statement, it can be recognized as a common direction for growth, something that inspires them to be better. And effective vision also announces to parents and students where you are heading and why they should take the trip with you. Okay, so developing a mission statement. Here is how to develop the mission statement. First is repetition, design, and placement are strategic ways to keep the mission alive. So the school's next step is to devise a plan to fulfill its mission. The second one is the SMART framework. As I've discussed earlier, SMART framework is for creating your goals more, better, and more specific in a specific time frame. Is it relevant? Is it achievable? And more. So after creating your goals, the next step is to develop SMART action steps, tasks, or activities that you will engage in to achieve the goals. So it helps you focus on what really needs to be done. And that's for SMART framework. Then third one is the development of an action step using the SMART framework. Oh, sorry. Um, the second one is a SMART framework, which provides a framework for developing goals and action steps that you focus on what really needs to be done. And the third is the development of an action step using the SMART framework. So don't be confused. So here's to develop the vision statement. After creating your vision statement, it is a way to develop your vision statement. So one of the most important responsibilities of any leader is establishing a vision and inviting others to share in its development. You must invite maybe your members to um, to get the most out of your vision. So you must first remove the barriers for making it an integral, vibrant facet of the school community. So second, don't rush the vision statement. Doing so leads to skepticism, stress, and distrust, which will lead to a statement that will eventually be ignored. Third is ask yourself, do I understand what this organization values, believes in, and hopes to be? And if so, we recommend that you first form a team that, with training and guidance, will introduce the concept of a vision to facilitate and engage faculty in the process of writing one, and synthesize the multiple values and visions that the faculty develops. Fourth is key ideas, values, and beliefs are the beginning of powerful visions. Each group should have a scribe whose responsibility it is to record responses, ideas, and key terms and phrases that come up during group discussions. That this will help you develop your vision statement. So the fifth one and the last is when developing a vision, remember that less can be more. Keep it short, and your staff will remember it longer. Do you get the ano here? Kabaliktaran. When you have a vision statement short, your members will remember it in the longer time because it is way more shorter. Okay, can we move forward? I hope you guys are listening. Now, here's for the goals for students in the terms of behavior. So we have here behavioral objectives. Benjamin Samuel Bloom from 1913 to 1999, and the three domains of behavioral objectives. So, behavioral objective is a learning outcome stated in measurable terms, which gives direction to the learner's experience and becomes the basis for student evaluation. Objectives may vary in several respects. They may be general or specific, concrete or abstract, cognitive, affective, or psychomotor. So we have here Benjamin Samuel Bloom, who proposes the three domains of behavioral objectives. So he was an American educational psychologist who made contributions to the classification of educational objectives and to the theory of mastery learning. Okay, Samuel Bloom or Benjamin Bloom is not really a behaviorist, but he is a teacher in psychology. So he developed the three domains of behavioral objectives. So here's what we call the Bloom's taxonomy. So the first is the cognitive domain. What is a cognitive domain? What is it all about? So the cognitive domain emphasizes intellectual outcomes, such as knowledge, understanding, and thinking skills. It refers to intellectual learning and problem solving. So the cognitive levels of learning include comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So verbs can be used or usually used to in formulating objectives or goal. Objectives alone, because this is behavioral objectives. So in formulating objectives, we must use or we can use these terms or these verbs. Recall, identify, define, recite, repeat, select, label, code, copy, construct, list, name, state, or etc. The example of objective of this cognitive domain is here. The student will construct a treatment plan for a teenager newly diagnosed with IDDM. The treatment plan must contain the following. Okay, so that's for the cognitive. In affective domain, it emphasizes feeling and emotion, such as interest, values, attitudes, appreciation, and methods of adjustment. So, affective levels of learning include the receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing by a value. Verbs usually used in creating objectives are formulate, discuss, describe, explain, perform, demonstrate, and etc. Example objective is the student will demonstrate a commitment to improving case presentation skills by regularly seeking feedback on presentations. Let's go to Psychomotor Domain in the last one of Bloom's taxonomy. So, the Psychomotor Domain emphasizes motor skills such as physical assessment skills and administration of chemotherapy. So, motor skill capabilities that involve behaviors requiring certain levels of physical dexterity and coordination. These skills are developed through repetitive practice and measured in terms of speed, precision, distance, procedures, or execution techniques. Psychomotor levels include perceptions that guide response mechanism, complex overt response, adaptation, and organization. So the verbs that commonly used are differentiate, compare, measure, calibrate, rearrange, and etc. So the example objective from this domain is that the student will calibrate instrument X before performing procedure Y. So here are the points in writing behavioral objectives. Most of the books that provide instruction on the writing of behavioral objectives state that an objective needs to have three components as follows. The first one is a measurable verb, which is also known as performance. Begin each behavioral objective with a verb. The critical aspect of any behavioral objective is the verb selected to indicate expected behavior from learning activities. The second one is the important conditions, if any, under which the performance is to occur. State each objective in terms of learner performance. A behavioral objective is one that is considered to be observable and measurable. Behavior is generally construed to be an action of an individual that can be seen, felt, or heard by another person. And the last one is the criterion of acceptable performance. State each objective so that it includes only one general learning outcome. Thank you everyone for listening, and this again, Abigail Manuli J. Gabutan, your facilitator for today, teaching you how to formulate goals and objectives. So as future teachers, this is really relevant for us to know how to formulate goals and objectives and mission statement, vision statement, because we must organize things such as how we plan our activities, how we plan doing our performance tasks for the children or the student we are teaching. And we must also know what objectives is applicable or appropriate to a student's behavior. So see you guys. If you have questions and clarifications, just post it in the forum relating to this topic, and I'll sure be answering your questions there. So see you guys, and in advance, Merry Christmas!